Well, I have to say, this has not been one of my best mornings in van life history. Aside from watching Dogecoin make this crazy climb up and then start coming back down and bouncing around, a wild little roller coaster ride, cryptocurrency craziness. Aside from that, hanging out at Starbucks doing a little editing. Well, I was going to the liquor store down the street from where I was parked to pick up some ice, and I made a U-turn and I hit the curb pretty hard. Now, no damage to my tire, but the van went rocking, like, whoa, back and forth, and everything fell over. This fell over, all this stuff fell over, all of it was on the ground, all over the place. Heard a big old crashing, like an earthquake. 8.5 on the Richter scale, the vanometer. And, well, I thought everything was unscathed until I came back here and saw this happening. No bueno. That's no good. This is my PVC pipe shelf, and if we look back here, we can see this has become disconnected from the receptor. That's no good. So I'm gonna have to figure out a solution to fix that. Maybe another PVC pipe replacement somehow, maybe a coupling, I don't know. If we're gonna figure that out, I happen to be going over to Darren's, meet up with him, do a little breakfast this morning, and he's quite a handy and crafty guy and got a bunch of tools in his garage, so I'm probably gonna pick his mind, see if he comes up with a good solution. Maybe something a little more durable too. I don't know. I haven't had any problems with this since I installed it almost a year ago. This is the first time, and I have to say, hitting that curb, the van did an old twisty job, probably wrenched it pretty good. And if only that one thing popped out, well, it's not too bad a problem. At least the whole shelf didn't come falling down, or rip the roof down with it or something crazy. Now that all happened because I was going to go get ice for the cooler as such, right? And well, I never did get a new bag of ice, but I opened this up and look in here. Oh man, just a floaty, wet, oh, gross. This is all filled with water. Everything in there is ruined. This is all ruined. Just water soup in there. This is the problem with having a cooler. I found that in the winter, having the cooler was awesome. No ice melt, no problem. Keep cold food in there for days, barely ever changing the ice. Now I got to change the ice once, at least, maybe twice a day, now that it's sticking around the upper 70s, 80s, pushing into supposed to be the 90s the next 2 days. So I'm really thinking about moving into a 12-volt cooler system, refrigeration cooler type thing. Igloo makes one. There's a bunch of companies that make them. I know they got one over at Bed Bath & Beyond. They got one over at Walmart. So maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. I'm really at 99% about ready to make that transition. But I know once I make that transition, a lot of other things are going to come into play. I've talked about this before. Now I'm going to be worried about my power consumption, about, you know, draining my own battery down on my van, about draining my jackery. And, well, another thing I noticed this morning was I woke up, I had my little fan blowing, had my big fan blowing last night, keeping me cool, and guess what? Look at this. Jackery power is at 1%. But I also noticed this is unplugged. This is supposed to be plugged in there so that when I'm driving around, it charges off of my 12-volt inverter. Well, it accidentally got unplugged. I didn't notice it. So I was probably driving around all day from Yosemite and didn't get a single charge and didn't pay attention to that. So if I'm going to have a refrigerator in here, or a refrigerated cooler for that matter, I really need to pay more attention to my power consumption. Let's check it out, see what happens. So we're gonna try this L bracket. I was thinking about, you know, new PVC or something, and Darren suggested, well, let's just use one of these L brackets I got here. Kind of heavy duty. Should fit right in. Oh yeah, that looks good.
Beautiful.
And that's not going anywhere after this.
Going anywhere. Should I even be touching this DNA covered bed?
I don't know, man. You're definitely not gonna want to put a black light to it, that's for sure.
Done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice and simple solution.
We'll put a little extra in there. Yeah, when you're all, I don't want to take all that stuff off.
Oh, yeah. That's not going anywhere now.
No, we're going to put one more. Boom.
Nice. Thank you very much, sir.
I'll put another couple, two more.
Right on. Well, Darren said he's going to pop a couple more screws in there, and those L brackets are good to go. Probably should have gone that way the first time around, but now I know, rolling down the street, bouncing down crazy highways, off-road areas, you know, smashing into curbs from time to time. Now I know that shelf isn't going anywhere unless it falls down from the ceiling. Oh, I don't know why I just said that. Welcome, friends, nomads, solo travelers, male and female alike. My name's Greg. I do live in a 1996 Dodge Ram van. It's a 2500, and I've lived in this van since July 2020. Pandemic drove me into it, and I'm driving myself around in it ever since. And I am loving my newfound freedom of life, of exploration, of travel, meeting new people, reconnecting with long-lost friends, seeing places I never even knew existed, and viewing places I've been to 100 times from a completely different vantage point. I love van life. And you know what? I'm not the only one. Van life, I know. Guess what, kids? Van life is going mainstream. Van life has gone mainstream. Van life is a normal reality now. And, well, where to begin with that? Well, I was at Yosemite, and guess what they got? They got little shirts with vans on them. And, you know, in the gift shops, they're catering to that. Not only in Yosemite, other places I've been to, down in Morro Bay, they got little vans on them with somebody hanging out on the beach, you know. What else? Nomadland. Are you kidding me? Great movie. Loved the movie. Sweeping up awards season. Now, granted, not a whole lot of challengers this past year as far as the movie content is going, but I was just thinking about it, you know, how many awards has Nomadland won? And I had to go here to the interwebs to find out, and I'm just going to start reading these here. Academy Award for Best Picture. Academy Award Best Actress in a Leading Role. A Golden Lion for the director. Academy Award for Best Directing. Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture. Golden Globe for Best Director. BAFTA Award, Best Film, Critics' Choice Award, Best Picture. Go on and on and on and on and on. It just keeps going, scrolling up, more and more. It's won every award you could get. Not only Best Picture, Best Director, Best Acting. I don't know if it won anything in the cinematography category, but if it didn't, it deserved to as well. What a beautifully shot movie. What a beautiful story. Yes, a little bit depressing on the van life side, but you know what? That is a reality for a lot of people out there. Not my reality. I'm living in my van and I am loving life. Well, you know what? It has hit mainstream. We got an Academy Award about a lady living the van life, the nomad life. And who else is out there? I mean, comedian Tom Green, he's out there in a van living the van life out in the desert. And he's blogging about it too. You know, Steve-O, the guy from Jackass. Yeah, that crazy guy who does the worst things to himself possible. I'm not going to mention some of his stunts because they're pretty wild. But if you know Steve-O, you know he's a really cool and interesting guy. And, well, he's doing his podcast now on the YouTube from a van, converted to be a podcast studio, and, you know, take his surfboards around and go surfing once in a while when he wants to. And, you know, gaining in popularity, not only just YouTube's about van life and, you know, crazy people like me popping up in your feed randomly and you weren't expecting to see this mug on a thumbnail, you know, about Yosemite National Park or something, but in all my travels, even in Yosemite this past weekend, van rentals are everywhere. All sorts of new companies popping up with van life rentals. Little crappy little builds that look super uncomfortable, but it gives you an introduction, a little tip of the toes into the deep end of the water to say, hey, is this for me? I've met several young couples out there on the road, whether it be out in Morro Bay, Yosemite, Highway 395, and a lot of them are just like, you know, we really love the idea of van life, but we're not sure if it's for us. And instead of buying a van and just going all in and then maybe having some regrets down the line and then having a van you can or can't sell easily, why not rent one? Try it for a weekend. Try it for a week. I met a French couple that was out here on vacation renting a van. Seeing California that way. What a beautiful way to do it, huh? Van life is everywhere. It's permeating our culture right now. And I think that's a good thing, because the more popularity, the more eyes that are interested in van life, well, the easier I think it might become for us van lifers. Not, you know, I know some people look at us kind of the corner of their eye like, does that guy live in there? Where does he shower? How does he go to the bathroom? All these such questions I hear all the time. And the more that van life gains in popularity, which I think it's really taken off right now in a big way. I've mentioned before, once those Amazon van fleets go on sale, there's going to be high tops everywhere, all around the country. And, well, good for them. Good for you. If you want to get into van life, do it. Seize the moment. Seize the opportunity like I did. Just make that leap. What's preventing you may not be what was preventing me. I don't know your story. You're not me. I'm not you. I'm barely me sometimes. But I had built these weird little barriers in my mind, you know, like, okay, I'm going to do it when this happens, or when I get past this point, you know, this year, this date, this time, this amount of money I need to have in the bank. And, well, what happened? Everything got shut down. What did I do? Well, I said, screw it. Put my car on Craigslist. The next day it sold. Took a little bit of that, you know, government cheese that they dished out there during the pandemic. Added that to the sale of my car, and bam. 3 days later, I had my studio apartment on wheels, and I haven't looked back since then. So if you're thinking about van life, I recommend it strongly. It's not for everybody. You got to have a certain personality type to deal with this. You know, I spent half my day just sitting here talking to myself, and people don't call me crazy. They call me creative. So, you know that old saying, perception is reality. And I'm going to go out today and perceive me some new reality. That's always my goal. Find a new way of looking at things, a different perspective, different vantage point. Take heed of what life brings you and mold it into something that you're proud of, something that you want to show other people, something that you yourself can look back on in a few years and go, man, that was the time, wasn't it? And guess what? Now is the time. 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 Now is the time.